Mike Radich here, and I'm now joined on the phone by MFC Heavyweight Smealinho Rama. Smealinho, how are you?
Good, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Smealinho, you got a fight coming up on May 10th at MFC 37. How's training been going for the fight?
Training is going tremendously. I'm in shape, ready to roll. Last week of training. Can't wait to get going and bring that belt back to Calgary.
Before your fight against Mike Hackert, that was the longest break between fights in your career. Before that, you kept a pretty active schedule, and that was the longest training camp of your career. Now that you had that experience with that training camp, this time around, it's not a long training camp, but it's not a short training camp like you had before. Which do you prefer now that you've experienced both? Do you prefer having that long training camp like you did preparing for Hackert, or do you prefer having those shorter training camps? Which do you prefer?
Well, me, I usually like to take about 10 weeks to prepare for the fight, so regardless of the fact that the fights are further or closer together, I'll always start cap 10 weeks before. And for example, if the fights are closer together, then I'll probably just finish the fight, take a week off, and jump right into camp right away. It doesn't matter to me. I fought a lot of times last year, and I managed to do just fine and improve tremendously. But the fact that I did have a bit of a break, and I got to spend a bit more time learning for myself rather than preparing for a different opponent, has helped my game tremendously. And I'm coming out the best I've ever been for this fight, and you guys are going to see me at my best next week.
Mm-hmm. Now, for this training camp, have you ventured out to other gyms to work with some other fighters and maybe pick up a trick or two here and there, or have you basically just stayed at home and done the same training that you've been doing?
No, I've stayed with my same coaches and training partners and everything. I haven't made any changes. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And
Sure.
everything's cool. My coaches are perfect. My training partners are perfect. I'm getting better every time, so no changes need to be done right now.
You're going to be fighting Chris Barnett. What are your thoughts about him as an opponent?
I think that he's just standing in my way. That's all I think of him. He's just another guy that's showing up there. People are saying, "Oh, this guy is going to do good against Rama," just like everybody else has, right? And they've all got stopped in the first round. So Barnett's just another guy to me. I'm doing my job. I'm training really hard. I have the right people around me. Everything's going perfect now, and that's where the fight's going to go.
After your fight against Mike Hackert, a lot of people were wondering who would be next for you because you had basically cleaned out everyone in the heavyweight division for MFC. So a lot of people assumed that it would be someone coming in outside the organization. Now, they bring in Chris Barnett. Were you surprised that he was your opponent, a guy who hasn't fought in 2 years and hasn't fought ever in the MFC? Were you surprised that he was the guy that was going to be your next opponent?
No, it's okay. I understand that they had to find somebody else to bring in for my title fight that they promised me. So I can see why Mark would do that. But he didn't have a lot of heavyweights, and I cleaned the heavyweight division up in Canada, so he did have to bring somebody else from another country. And Chris Barnett was the first guy that he got. Good for him. Now, like I said, he's standing in my way. I'm going to go there next week and get the job done.
Without revealing too much, of course, what would be a potential game plan for you going into this fight? Because Chris Barnett, he hasn't fought in 2 years, and in this sport, fighters change so much over the course of a year or two. So how are you going about preparing to fight someone who hasn't been very active?
The reason why I train so hard is because I expect my opponents to be better every time. And that 2-year layoff that Chris Barnett took off is just, the way I see it is that he's come back 10 times better than he was before, and that's what we're expecting. We're expecting a better athlete in better shape with better striking, grappling, and wrestling. So what did I do is I went to wrestling, I went to jiu-jitsu, I went to boxing and kickboxing and MMA, and I do conditioning twice a week. I do my weights twice a week. My cardio, I do it 3 times a week, my interval training. So what I'm going in there with is an all-around game, which is cardio, strength, power, explosiveness, good grappling, good wrestling, good striking. Just a solid team and a solid camp of me finding out a way to put everything and you guys are going to see an MMA finish for the number one in the Canada's division and bring the belt home.
Mm-hmm. Now, obviously, you're a lot taller than Chris Barnett. He's at a height disadvantage in almost every fight because he's only 5'9", and that's, very short for a heavyweight. Do you think that is going to be an advantage for you? Do you think being so much taller, that's going to be an advantage for you? Or do you think that, he's dealt with that so many times that, it's not going to be a problem for him?
Well, Mike Tyson, his whole career was a shorter fighter. Mm-hmm. And he seemed to go out there and knock everybody out.
Right.
So I'm not saying it's an advantage for me, but I've trained specifically to face a smaller opponent. My wrestling-wise and striking-wise, even grappling-wise, for more round, sort of stockier kind of guy. So I don't see it as an advantage in my part or a disadvantage in his part. Mm-hmm. We're just out there to do our job. And that's pretty much it. He trained, I trained, and we're going to go there to do our thing, put on a good show, and guarantee you it won't be a show. It'll be a quick finish.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Where do you see the fight going?
Wherever it goes, I can handle it. Mm-hmm. I can handle it wherever it goes. I got a great team of guys, great grappling coach. He's a fourth-degree black belt, a great MMA coach. He does my wrestling and stuff like that. I go to an MMA club out here, full of national champions and provincial champions. So my boxing coach is incredible. My Muay Thai coach is amazing. So I'm confident anywhere, whether it's striking, clinching, grappling. It does not matter to me. I'm going there to do my job.
Mm-hmm. Have you brought in anybody to mimic Chris Barnett during this training camp?
No, just my usual camp. Mm-hmm. All the guys that come in and train with me. Craig Hudson, my second fight, actually, he flew out here to train for his upcoming fight against Ryan Fortin. The same night as me, May 10th, for the five-star fight league. Mm-hmm. And yeah, he came out here to help me out to train for a week. And camp is the same coaches, same training partners, just working hard, making little adjustments every time. And here we are now, a week away, ready to win that belt. Mm-hmm.
This fight will be for the MFC Heavyweight Championship. Is this the first time you're fighting for a belt as a pro or an amateur? Is this your first title fight?
Yes, this is the first title fight ever.
Mm-hmm. Smealinho, you're 6-0. You're the number one heavyweight in Canada right now. You're fighting for the MFC Heavyweight title. Did you think 6 fights into it that you'd be in a position to fight for a title in a major organization like the MFC and that you'd be the number one heavyweight in Canada? Did you ever think that when you started your career that this would be where you would be at right now? How does it feel? Is it real to you right now? Going into this fight, does it feel real that you're the top guy? It's only 6 fights into it. Did you think it would happen this soon?
It's all real, Mm-hmm. I put in the hard work and effort, and I worked my ass off, and you guys are going to see me in the best shape I've ever been in. And you guys are going to understand that he has been putting in the work. From my first fight to this fight, you guys can see tremendous changes in my game and the shape I'm in. So it is very real. I'm still in disbelief in a way. It's like, how is this happening to me? One day it's a dream, and then next thing you know, you're working your ass off, and everything's happening right in front of your eyes. And, the belt's kind of going to show me that my hard work did kind of pay off, because I'll physically have something to show me that, look, you did it, and that's the MFC belt. I just can't wait to put that belt around my waist.
Mm-hmm. Is this the last fight on your MFC contract? Because you've fought for them 3 times before. I know they usually like to do 4-fight deals. Is this the last fight on your contract?
No, what happened is I had my B-Mean fight. Mm-hmm. Mark tried to sign us. Then we said, no, we want a 1-fight deal. We took a 1-fight deal with Fortin, won that fight, and we wanted another 1-fight deal with Hackett. So Mark offered us a 4-fight deal, and then we took we came to an agreement, and we got a 3-fight contract, starting with a Mike Hackett fight. So it'll be Chris Barnett, and then hopefully after this fight, go out there and win it, get the belt, and hopefully Mark can make a really good decision and sign the recently cut LeBar Johnson for me to defend my title.
Mm-hmm. That's a good fight. That would be an interesting one. Smealinho, real quick before I let you go, do you have any sponsors you would like to thank, and is there anything you'd like to say to the fans?
The fans, get your tickets, come up there, watch me win that belt. We all go party after, and I want to start off by thanking all my coaches and gyms, independent MMA, do my boxing there with Vlad, the Knuckles, mixed martial arts, Max Naring, he does my conditioning and MMA me. Need weapons with Sheldon and Master Dab. I do my Muay Thai over there. Gonzalez Beaches A-Team at Tilt. Anderson Gonzalez, he does my Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. All my training partners and, my family for being there to support me, helping me prepare, whether it's taking me around, cooking me food, or helping me train at the gym. And my sponsor is Victory Mouth Guards. Dr. David Sishan, he does my dental care, and he made a mouth guard for me and takes care of those pretty teeth. Optimal Wellness Center, Dr. Ron Toma, he does my chiropractic care, massages, and physiotherapy, and all that fancy stuff. Smash MMA, get your gear and Colgan over there. Whiskey Rock down in Edmonton. If you want to have a good time, check that place out. Hit up Robbie, get good deals on drinks, get a few free drinks, and Kyrie Tattoo Company, hit it up here in town and get some good deals on tattoos by Moose. Get yourself inked up, looking good. Last but not least, my manager is Frenchie, Keegan Hanning, and Black Goldstein again. Shout out to them. I couldn't make this possible without everybody involved in my life right now. They know who they are, so I don't need to say any names. And thank you guys.
Smealinho, thank you for taking the time to talk. I really appreciate it. Good luck May 10th at MFC 37 against Chris Barnett.
Thanks a lot.